Hello and welcome to Chess with Simon. I'm Simon. So I challenged everybody who's ever played for Cumnor Chess Club or who's registered for the Live Chess Cumnor Chess Club group to a game of correspondence, and there's been a really good turnout. So we're just going to go through these correspondence games and see what we can see. So the first one is Ian Bush. We know his rating is 2,428, so that's very good. He's playing some very good chess. He's played e4, which is his normal move. Ian's a very sharp player, often looking for the critical move, playing interesting openings like the Evans Gambit. And so I'm going to play c5 on the basis that it's the only move that equalises against e4. I mean, really? Yeah, because the other moves allow white to play d4. So like e6 allows white to play d4, so white's just better. Or c6 allows white to play d4, so white's just better. e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. I mean, white has a pull, right? I mean, I guess people believe that after the Berlin you're equalising, but I've played c5 for a lot of my life, and I'm claiming that either white has to play d4 and enter the open Sicilian, in which case you've swapped your wing pawn for a central pawn, which is a bonus, although white does have a little bit of initiative in those lines. Or white has to play a closed Sicilian, and in that case your control over d4 is compensation. I have to say, I know that Ian usually doesn't do either of those things. He plays d4 followed by c3, Smith-Morra Gambit, which is an incredibly sharp line that he knows very well. Creates very interesting play. But anyway, we're not going to be too focused on what our opponents are doing. We're going to play what we think's right. And here we think c5. Bobby Fischer, I think, used to believe the Najdorf was the only way to equalise against e4, and he was very good at chess. So let's just play it. Oh! He's auto-moved to the next thing. I mean, did he know I was going to play c5? I play other openings too. Maybe he auto-moved against other openings. Or is he online? Very quick though, wasn't it? Oh well, I mean, we just take it, right? I mean, go on then. We just take... yeah. Okay, I'm taking it. Ah! And that's enough, okay? So let's have a look. So what he's done is, Ian... I've played the Smith-Morra accepted, and he's auto-moved that. He's going to take with a knight, right? Unless there's something like bishop c4. But he's programmed in that much, so I'm expecting him to take with a knight. So it's very simple, isn't it? Which is if black can withstand the storm, then black's got a chance of winning. But white's attack's pretty strong. And Ian knows what he's doing in those lines. Okay, this is Andrei Tishkin. Okay, so let's... I don't know how to get back now. Let's have a look what... okay, maybe we go this way. Profile. Oh, no idea what I'm doing here. This is ridiculous. Play. Okay. So what we're going to say here is... So this is the thing. So... if we were prepared to play c5 to e4, then c4 must be a good move because e5 is very natural because it allows you to develop the bishop and control the centre. But if I believe in c5 to e4, then c4 and e5 gives white an extra tempo, reverse Sicilian, gives white an extra tempo, so that must be better. So Ian's played knight takes c3. Okay, we'll think about that. So I'm going to claim that I have to play c5 here. I mean, you can play other things. You can play e6, go for a Queen's Gambit decline, but my theory is that black's a bit worse than the Queen's Gambit decline because it blocks in your Queen's bishop. So we're going to play c5. We're going to play for... and it's sort of pretty, isn't it? It's like Sicilian to the Sicilian. Sicilian meets Sicilian. This, Pedro in the UK. And we're having a Sicilian day today. Pedro the Sicilian. Nick's really, really good player. This 1500 thing is a mirage. I don't think he's played any. Look, he's all got like, it's all like 2100, 2200. He's really, really good. I've played him loads. I know him really well. He's a brilliant player. So here's what I'm going to claim. Knight f3. So the problem with d5 is, I would say, is that white can play d4 and you can end up in a Queen's Gambit declined or a Slav. And actually, I think white always has a slight positional pull in those lines. I mean, I think, knowing Nick's more of a modern player. So after knight f3, if I played d5, I think he'd actually play g3. That's kind of more his style. Or you never know, he might play b3. But again, sort of modernist stuff. So I don't think he would actually play d4. Maybe do I risk d5? Do I risk d5? What I think gets difficult with Nick is he plays things like these sort of reversed Grunfelds, which sort of become like a Catalan. And actually, I think white's got a good pull in the Catalan. So in other words, after d5, if he played g3, once you start playing c5 and knight c6, he could play d4, and it becomes... I actually believe I won a game against him in a correspondence like that, but I think mathematically, objectively, I don't like the way that looks, because basically I like the Grunfeld for black, which means I wouldn't want to play on the reverse side of it. So I think that means I'm going to play knight f6 can't be a bad move, right? We're going to play knight f6 and we're going to see what comes along. And I think that's a little bit more cautious against such a good player like Nick. Let's see what he does. So he might play b3, might play g3, might play d4, might play c4. He plays c4 as well, actually. He might play c4, in which case I'll play c5. You know, that's what we do. b3. Okay, so this guy again got some really good ratings, particularly at Rapid. Come on, let's have a look. I never know how to get back. Callum. Okay, Callum. So, I'm sure someone in the comments can tell me. Okay, it's like this is how you get back. I don't know, is this working on the video? We'll find out. But the thing is, is this working on the video? Yeah, it seems to be working on the video. Okay, so the point of this is very trendy, this move. It's really come into its own. I mean, it was invented by Larson, right? Well, I mean, or Nimzovich or whatever. But so it's been in many ways been around for decades. But in the last 10 years or 15 years, it's become very trendy. Marcus Harvey from Oxfordshire has done a lot of good play with this. I think Nakamura plays it a lot. It's a good move, right? So after bishop b2, one of the ideas here is to control the square e5. So what if we just played e5 and just, quickly played e5, bishop here is going to attack, and then we just defended it with a knight? I mean, how wrong can that go? It's quite principled, isn't it? I mean, often I play d5, knight f6, bishop f5, e6. The engine's like all of this. h6. The engine's like all of that. But I think we should play e5. I mean, what else could we play? We could play c5. I think e5 is the principle to sort of... I'm trying to play mathematically, like, very correctly. e5, come on, you love to see it. I love to see it. Is this... This is Keith, isn't it? Is this Keith Foreman? Chess helps my brain to work. Keep body active through running and cycling. Good idea, Keith. That sounds very wise. So I think this is Keith. So here we go, Keith. Now Keith's quite a tactical, complex player, but he's getting the same treatment as everyone else. C4. Nigel's really, really good. He's got grades to back it up, but we've played a lot. Nigel and I have played a lot. Look, we've played 35 games between us. Played a lot. We had a period of draws as well. It's interesting, isn't it? So basically, we're going to do the same as we did with Ian, and it's going to be a fascinating, complex, challenging. Now, Nigel, doesn't shy from playing the critical line, and I don't think he's a Smith-Morra man. I actually don't know what, because Nigel's more commonly a d4 player. Don't actually know what he does against c5, but I'm about to find out. Ian's taken there. Okay, Ian. Well, spoiler alert, I'm going to play knight c6. But I'm going to think about it because it's correspondence, and this is an important game, and I'm trying to be controlled and not run away with it. But my basic idea is to play moves like knight c6, d6, a6. That's what I'm usually playing. You can play e6. I might look into that. You can get to a sort of Schwenningen type situation with pawns on e6 and d6. But I'm playing it a bit more looking like a Najdorf. Both are valid, but both lead to very murky situations. So what does that mean? That means it's only my move in one of these games, I think, which is the game with Ian, and I think, and it's all very exciting, and I'm going to try and do this every day. Let's see if I can. I hope you're all well. See you all tomorrow.